Most people don't struggle with money because they're bad at math. They struggle because most people don't struggle with money because they're bad at math. They struggle. Most people don't struggle with money because they're bad at math. They struggle because of their relationship with money. Think about it. Have you ever felt that the harder you work, the more money seems to slip through your fingertips? Like, no matter what you earn, it just never feels like enough. See, that's not just numbers on a spreadsheet. That's the money story running through your life. Now, here's the truth about me. I didn't come from money. My dad was an immigrant, came here at 17 years old, but he worked harder than anyone I've ever seen. And I thought, well, I'm just gonna follow in his footsteps. Work hard, work hard, work hard, earn more. And that was the path to freedom. So I became a CPA, which really meant that I could audit your books, I could calculate depreciation schedules, I could kill a good party conversation in 30 seconds. But here's the kicker. Even as a CPA, nobody ever actually taught me about how do you master money. I knew how to count it, but not how to create freedom with it. I started in debt. I was horrible with investing. I made some bad decisions. I even losing 1/3 of everything I owned in a Ponzi scheme. And I was trapped. I was trapped on what I call the earnings treadmill, working harder and harder and harder, but never feeling free. Then came my wake-up call. My son, I was a single full-time dad raising him from 5.5 years old, and at 6 years old, he drew a picture of me. And in that drawing, I saw myself standing in front of 2 computer screens and a phone in each ear and the phone on the desk ringing. And I realized I wasn't present in his world. I was chasing money and success, but I was missing the moments that actually mattered. And have you ever sat there and said, wait a second, have you ever had a moment where suddenly you see how off course you've been? That was mine. Now fast forward today, because that was the start of the obsession of how do you master money? How do I find a way to separate my earnings from the efforts to earn it? Today, I live with my beautiful wife and our 2 sheepadoodles in a beautiful home on the beach. We travel when we want, where we want. My days aren't driven by bills. They're not driven by bosses or even clients. They're driven by choice. They're driven by impact. They're driven by service. And I proved the power of all of this and what I learned in the hardest chapter of my life, my cancer journey. See, when they found that tumor in my bladder, I didn't expect it. No one expects it. I wasn't a candidate. I wasn't someone that smoked or drank. No one in my family ever had cancer. It was from left field, but I knew I had a demon to fight. So I shut everything down. And I had the blessing of doing it because I created that money machine. I found that path. So I shut everything down. No clients, no client work, no active work. I just focused on fighting the demon called cancer. Everything I had. And yet, because of it, because of the money machine, our lifestyle continued. We didn't sell things off. We didn't drain the accounts. The money machine that I had built carried us through. And here's the thing. It isn't the house or the travel that really makes my life rich. It's the freedom of choice. It's the ability to say yes or no without the fear. But here's what most people don't realize. The way you think about money, it didn't start with you. It's not you. It was inherited from your parents, from your school, from your culture, from the media, from social media. Little phrases like, money doesn't grow on trees. Oh, I can't tell you how many times I heard that. Or rich people are greedy. Or save for that rainy day because the sun won't last. Any of those sound familiar? And now you add to it social media. One side screaming, hustle harder. The other side is telling you money's evil and billionaires, they're villains, and capitalism, it's broken. See, no wonder we're confused. See, you've been marinating in the mixed money messages basically your whole life. And here's the kicker. None of them are facts. They're just stories. Stories that feel like truth because we've heard them over and over again. That's why so many people hit what I call the money set point. See, it's this invisible ceiling of what you believe you can earn or save or invest or be worth. It's why people that leave that $120,000 job start businesses, and guess what? They only ever make that $120,000 again. Different path, same set point. See, do you ever feel like no matter how hard you push, you keep hitting that same ceiling? That's not a coincidence. That's your set point at work. And here's the hard truth. If your beliefs and your vision don't match, you're fighting yourself. It's a tug of war. And so you say you want freedom, but deep down, you still believe money's scarce or evil or hard to get. And you can't have both. So you've got two choices at that point. Drop the belief or drop the vision. Because if one foot is planted in your old story and that old belief, and the other's trying to reach for something bigger, something better, you're just stuck doing the splits. And let me tell you, they can hurt. Financial splits hurt way more than the gym kind, okay? So what's the solution? Here's the solution. Align your money with your values and your vision. That's when it flows with who you are. That's where you're no longer fighting, and it's not fighting against you. Now, there's some truths that actually changed everything for me. That transformed everything on my journey from debt to where I am today, is to realize first that money follows value. The more value you can create, the bigger the problems you can solve, the more complex things that you can solve, the more money flows to you, period. It isn't about hours. It isn't about hustle. It isn't about effort. Because let's face it, if it was about effort and if it was about hours, there would be a lot more people financially well off, because there's a lot of people that are efforting out there and putting the hours in. It's about value. That's where we need to realize that money will follow value. Number two is this. Wealth is more about your behaviors than it ever is about money. It's about choices and decisions that we make. Habits, consistency, discipline, that's what builds freedom. Not IQ, not luck, not even income, okay? It's about the behaviors and what you do with the money. That leads to number three. Earning more doesn't make you free. A money machine does. See, freedom comes not from a raise, not from a paycheck, not from a new client, not from additional revenue. Freedom comes when you finally get your money to work harder for you than you did for it. That's the bottom line. And the fourth one, and I think this is a big one, is that money is a paintbrush. It's not the painting. It's not the masterpiece. See, money itself isn't the masterpiece. Your life is. And money is simply the paintbrush. See, we think that it's the masterpiece. But when we realize that money is the paintbrush, who controls the paintbrush? The painter. And that's you. See, it's a tool that you use to create the life, the legacy, and the impact you want. So let me ask you this. Are you going to keep letting those old money stories, the cultural noise, the media, the low set points run your life? Or are you ready to build your money machine? One that funds your vision, that carries you through the storms, that lets you use the money as the paintbrush for the life that you truly love. Because here's the truth. It's not about how much you earn. It's not about how much you even keep. It's about how much you get working for you to build the machine so you get to live a life of your own choosing. To get up each and every day, put your feet on the floor, and look up and say, I can make a choice today. That's freedom. That's what I want for you.
My name is Elise Archer. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called She Sells, and I'm recording this testimonial for Mel actually completely unsolicited because I believe in his work so much. And Mel is what I tell other people, a unicorn, meaning that he is that really unique and rare combination of being an absolute powerhouse entrepreneur who can help you grow and scale your business massively, as well as having the CPA background that enables him to tell you not just what to do to make money, but how to multiply it and let it grow. Something else that I so appreciate about Mel as his client is he has the utmost integrity. He will always look out for your best interests no matter what. And I just think that's so important to have in a mentor and a coach. So Like I said, totally unsolicited. He didn't ask me to do this. I just felt from the heart that I wanted to pop on and talk about my experience working with him. And if you are looking to hire Mel, you're looking to multiply your money, you're looking to not only grow your business, but also learn how to turn your business into a machine that creates money for you for the rest of your life, do yourself a favor, get in Mel's energy, hire him as a mentor. You won't be disappointed.
All right, all right. So good to be here. I hope that you can hear me. Let me know. Let me know. It's been such a crazy good weekend having a chance to chat with y'all and see y'all. That first video, it's the first time that we've played it publicly. So y'all, you got the premiere. You got the premiere. And all the stuff. So I just wanted to air it and everything. It's been such an amazing journey these days for us, and we've got so much ahead of us and so much to do today. We'll talk about the path to the Money Machine Blueprint. We'll talk about the Money Machine Blueprint. The doors are open today. We'll talk about y'all and next steps, how I see it, and the things that I want for you. And we'll do some of the giveaways and drawings. A lot of you did the quiz. A lot of you did the quiz more than once. All good. We're good. And so we're gonna have some fun. And I've got some special guests coming on tomorrow with me live. And we've got another 4 days of fun. I'm jumping in and out of the Facebook group and doing this. So glad. He couldn't find, you know what? That's all right. I gave a few extra credit for people because I realized there was a couple questions that I might have not hit on. So I adjusted some things for you. But my dog's name's Budo, which is the older one. He is a 4-year-old Sheepadoodle. Budo stands for warrior in Japanese, but he's much more of a Walmart greeter than he is a warrior. But don't tell the people on the outside that. And Samson is the younger one. Samson is 1.5 years old, same half brother, same dad, different mom. And he could aptly be renamed Mayhem because he is just like a whirlwind. But that was one of the questions I said, we got to give that to him because I don't remember if I said it in there and everything. So all good. And so here's the thing. I look at, we finished the 3 live trainings and I gave you some extra ones. So and if you haven't seen them, everything is on the replay page. And I know some people were having some challenges with the replay page. If you haven't or you want to go see the replays, remember, you'll go to the replay page and there's these thumbnails. And when you click the thumbnail, it changes the playable videos. So just know that's there. Down on the bottom of the replay page are all the bonuses, bonus trainings. So I have one around the money maxims that we should live by that I did live. I have another one around getting out of debt. I have a very different way how to get out of debt, and so I explained it in that in that training, a special training. So some of you that might sit back and say, "Oh gosh, I got a little bit of debt. What do I need to do? Does it make sense?" One of the big questions is, do I invest or do I wait till I get out of debt? And I have a very unique perspective on it, and see that we can make that happen. And so the videos should have a progress bar on it that you should be able to drag and pull. If not, I'll have to go look at it and get it changed. I apologize if that is the case, but I was looking at it and I had a progress bar that I could move. Maybe it was doing it because it was me. So let me look at it. We'll make sure after this that you have access to it and all that stuff. And so we'll get that all dialed in. And then the third special training you did, and I think this is one of the most important ones, is how do you get paid your worth? the fact of the matter is that if we want to accelerate our path to financial freedom, to building the money machine, to have a life of choice, is to go through and do the things that we're talking about doing. But if we get a bigger shovel of income, we have the opportunity to put more towards it. And so one of the best ways to have a bigger shovel of income, instead of you working 12 jobs, is get paid more. And so I walked through a couple of frameworks there on how do you get paid more? How do you own your worth? The kind of the challenges that I went through when I was trying to build a practice and build an income stream where people would pay me what I was worth, and how did I frame it? And I can't kind of give you the talking points, but the framework to look at it through. Right? So you have all of those replays, all of that stuff up there. You'll have access to it for at least the rest of this week and everything. So that's the kind of stuff. Here's the idea. My idea was, between the 10 days of money momentum, between the replays and the bonuses, I just want to strip away as many of the obstacles, as many of the walls, as many of the stories, as many of the things that might get in the way of us finding the financial freedom we deserve, the life that we desire, the ability to live that freedom-based life. And my hopes was that during those times that we've had a chance to open up your mind to a different set of possibilities, to see things through a different set of eyes, to look at it and say, it's possible. It may not be easy, but it's certainly possible. And that there's a process, there's a recipe, there's a system to follow, and to maybe light a flame on those dreams of possibility again, that they're no longer dreams you had, but now dreams you have. Because I truly believe that no matter where you are in life, your dream's coming. If it isn't here, your dream's coming. But we have to stay on the line of progress. We have to stay on that journey, because we're required to do something to have those dreams. And so during I was walking this morning. I got up real early to walk. I don't think the dogs were happy with me. I put the little lights on and everything because it was dark out. But I needed to walk early because I wanted to prepare for this and prepare for you all. And I was reflecting on the conversations that I've had, the messages I had, and everything, and the conversations I had when I was in Nashville keynoting, and I'm going to Miami to keynote, and I'll be in New York, Miami on Saturday, New York on Sunday. They're putting my book on one of the billboards in Times Square on Sunday. So I have to go visit my billboard. So we'll see what that looks like. And I just found that there's this undercurrent that I hear from folks, and this undercurrent of uncertainty and this undercurrent of possibly fear. What's going to go on in the economy, what's going to happen, and all of that stuff. And I think that as I was reflecting and walking, I realized that, well, there's truly three ways we can approach fear and this uncertainty. And one of the things that happens during these uncertain times is the tendency to become a little more myopic, to bring things in, to turn around and really start to look at what is going on, but not look at it from the standpoint of, well, I just got to protect everything. What happens is we shrink things down in times of uncertainty, but that's the time to expand. To expand, if anything, your thinking, to expand your mind, to look and say, what is possible? What if? Because there's three ways we can approach the fear or the uncertainty, and that is, the first is to flee, okay? But you can run from it for sure, But that uncertainty and that fear is a ghost that follows us. It doesn't get us out of the way. It just stalls it out. The second thing you could do is to freeze. And I've in the martial arts, we kind of went through this from a physical fear, an existential fear, but this is more of it can be existential, but we're talking about financial and all that and the uncertainty around this. But if you freeze, you curl up in the corner and say, well, tell me when the storm is gone. But there's only one way that we move forward, and that's we fight, that we step up. It's the only way to grow, because flee or freeze either holds us still or takes us backwards. And here's what I know. Y'all have spent a lot of time with me. And so that tells me that you're not one of those first two, that you are in this game to try and look at it differently. And I think that Ralph Waldo Emerson says it best, that a mind once stretched with new ideas never goes back to its original form. And I think that's what we've done here. And if I've at least done that to loosen the grip of uncertainty, to give you an idea of what's possible and everything, that we get a chance to look at things from that perspective as we grow. And I know that we're surrounded by messages, and I see some of the messages. In fact, I see Jess's message and everything. And it's unfortunate, but you can't force people to change. We have to invite them to join in a journey, and over time, sometimes it might simply be us having that conversation and being an example of what's possible, and then they decide to follow along. And I in my own family have had the same situation. I got an identical twin brother who is a CPA, but a different perspective on life. But at the same time, just living and allowing them to see that may be the best thing sometimes. And so I'll be here for at least the next 4 days, doing as much as possible to help you answer questions and understand some things. Because at some point you're going to look at it and say, well, when we talk about the Money Machine Blueprint, is this good for me? Is this good for now? Should I, shouldn't I? And that's not the question I think that we should be answering or even asking. And I think that there's a different question that is actually even more powerful. The first question that we should be asking ourselves is am I willing to declare, remember declarations, am I willing to take control of my financial future? That's the first thing. Because without that, nothing else happens. We have to declare that we're going to take control of it. And then we need to understand that the question isn't about what and how. That's not the question we should be asking. The question that we should be asking is who? Is who? Now, whether it's me or not, that's not what I'm getting at. I'm just saying that this is something that I believe in wholeheartedly, because it bothers me when someone says, "Oh, well, Mel's self-made, multimillionaire, whatever." Okay. No, I am not. It's offensive. Okay. I am not self-made. There is far greater sources and resources and powers that be that have allowed me the blessing to do the things that I'm doing. And I mean that allowed me. I've had the coaches, I've had the mentors, I've had the people that have kicked me in the rear end. I have had the people that have supported me, that had helped me up when I stumbled and fell. I have my family around me. I have my colleagues. I have you. I can't pretend for a moment that I did it siloed, isolated, or alone. And none of us do it. It's not a solitary pursuit. And if it were, it's not fun. The purpose is to create a journey, a rich journey, a rich life. That comes from experiences and feelings and people. not money. And so when I look at it, if we make the decision that I am going to take control of my financial future, then the only question you got to answer is, who's the right fit to do that with you? I have done this where I basically stand by their side. And someone asked me early on, because I had not taught this openly before. Most of my work was one-on-one with clients, where I would be a family CFO for 3 to 5 families a year, and that's it. And he said, why don't you teach this? And I said, because I don't want to get forced back into the idea of, hey, can I buy an hour of your time? Because my time's not for sale. And I said, but my transformation is. He says, well, then let's package the transformation. And that's what gave birth to the Money Machine Blueprint, the book, and all the things around it, is to allow me in some way, because not everyone, I can't take on a lot of clients. I don't want to. And others, they can't afford it. Okay, because that starts at $5,000 a month. So it's like, how do I give the tools, the process, the systems, and everything I know? So it's, and then some coaching along the way. So it's as if I'm standing by your side. I never want to do it for a client, because then they're not empowered when I'm not there. And so I think that we look at it from really starting to dial this in and say, okay, I make the decision. Now you can then make an easier decision of who's the right person to stand by your side. Because a coach, just like my coaches, will see the blind spots. They've been down the road. They've been down the path. They've stubbed their toes. They've lost money in a Ponzi scheme and said, oh gosh, and I don't know if you all saw what just happened. A huge lawsuit got filed against Ty Lopez for a Ponzi scheme that he was running, like millions and millions of dollars. I think a whole lot of money. And it's sad to see that here's someone that was an influencer. I have my opinions about him. I'm going to keep to myself. I've had them that way for a while. But he took money so he could buy yachts and planes, and he squandered $16 million of other people's money, living his life and telling lies and everything. So just like the guy that took from me, I look at him and say, now he's a parasite. But my job is to make sure that doesn't happen to others, because it happened to me, and to give you systems and processes to keep you safe. And so that's how I want this to look at it. And so when I tell you a little bit about the Money Machine Blueprint, how it operates, how I do things, there's some things I've added in. If you all have gone to the registration page, there's some things that aren't on the registration page that you guys are going to hear about here. And then we can talk about some questions you might have. But at the core, the Money Machine Blueprint is the instruction manual for what I did to get my relationship back with my son, and to find financial freedom for me and Stephanie, so we could live a life of choice. So we could get up each and every day and say, we're going to choose to do this. We're going to go to Italy. We're going to go do that. And then to turn around and realize that it's something that is replicatable. It's something that is transferable to others. And so this is taking the 30 plus, the 3 plus, 4 plus decades of my financial journey, all the bad, all the good, and saying, how do we create processes that work, that have been tested? And so that's how it came about. And so I'm going to walk through a couple things here as quickly as I can, tell you about it, and then I'll open up for some questions on it and see where we go from there. Okay. And so, So at the core, like I said, it's my journey. 1 as an entrepreneur, 2 as an advisor, 3 as a CPA, but most importantly, 4 as someone that was on the journey to financial freedom. It's taking that and putting it into a system or process that is digestible for folks and everything. And so it's about becoming wealthy, yes, but it's more importantly about the rich life, because it doesn't just happen, but it happens one day and $1 at a time. And I wanted to give it to you in a way that you can make it happen. And what I want it to do is this: at the core of it, I want it to build lasting freedom, lasting wealth, enduring freedom, and a living legacy. That's what it's designed to give you. Now, I want you to make a ton of money, but I don't want this ever to be about money alone. Because if I'm successful in making you a lot of money, if I'm successful in helping you build wealth, but in the process you've destroyed your health, your relationships, you're miserable, all of that stuff, then I failed. Okay, the job of having the financial freedom is to be able to have a life of choice that is holistically successful on your terms, not on the terms that someone else dictates. I don't care, but I'm going to map it all out for you so you can see it in a moment. But because I'll give you the kind of the whole journey of what's going to happen. But in a nutshell, what I try to do is take everything that I use in my life, in my system, or with my clients and everything, and give the processes and the principles. And the reason I focused on principles is because principles transcend time. They're universal. They also transcend geography. Now, I know I've had a lot of people ask, can I do some of this in Canada or the UK or Australia? I got some cool news for you, and it's going to get better. Okay. So I've created a conversion. So I'll show it to you later. But bottom line is yes. And I'm going to bring in some experts also to assist with talking through some of those points. Once I find the right experts that I trust and have the right values. And I'm talking to someone for Canada right now, and I'm looking for someone in the UK. So it's about the processes and the principles that become universal. And we break it down. This is a snapshot of the portal that takes you from the vision to building income, to building wealth, to protecting it, and living a legacy on your terms. And so then each one of the things are broken down into little bite-sized lessons for you to go through step by step, me instructing you with tools, with templates, and everything to make it easier for you to apply. So these are the actual dashboards and things that I use. In fact, I give you a full, so the workbook, just so you can see it. Let me grab the workbook. So the workbook's a big one because I have everything in here. So this is the workbook that you get that walks you through it. But I give you two workbooks. There's one that's blank for you, but then there's one that literally you see. Well, I'll see if you can see that. Yeah, you see it completely filled out. That's my workbook. That's me doing the work because I live everything that I'm doing. And so this is the stuff that I've done for myself. So it's not something that is just some theory. This is how I've done it. And it's the same worksheets. It's the same scorecards and dashboards that I use every single week, every single month for my clients and for myself. Now, I love this quote. I love this quote, and I think that it's kind of fun. This is a gal, Ann Quindlen, and keep your questions coming. I'll get to your questions, so we can talk it through. But she said, "Listen, I quit when I quit my New York Times job, full-time job. She was told that she was nuts. Now she was doing a commencement speech when she talked about this, and she said, and then when I quit again to become a full-time novelist, they said I was nuts. But I'm not nuts. I'm happy. I'm a successful on my own terms, and that's the big key. Because if your success is not on your own terms, if it looks good to the world but doesn't feel good to your heart, that's not success. And then I love this. A little Lily Tomlin. Remember the words of Lily Tomlin, if you win the rat race, you're still a rat. Okay? And I just think that the whole idea of doing success on your terms is huge. So you join, let's just look at let's map out the journey, and then I'll get to some of your questions and everything. Yeah, she's an author and everything. So so I'm gonna jump to my iPad. I'm gonna walk this out. This is some of the frameworks we walked through, but I want to just map out what we're gonna be going through with you. So everything we do will start out with a vision. With a vision. Now, this is your vision, not anyone else's vision, your vision. So I don't care what your parents say. I don't care what your siblings say. I don't care what your degree says, what your career trajectory says. I care that it is your vision. It's your life to live. Why are we living someone else's? So the first thing, everything we do is to craft the vision of your life. Because then that vision will then move us to a plan. Now, this plan, though, is a plan that has a long-term view. So we're going to build a plan out that goes, we're going to think in decades. So we're going to build a plan out that allows you to plan from decade to 5 years to 1 year to breaking it down so we can actually do it. Because we need to start with a vision, that's ours, put a plan in place to make the vision a potential reality. Because otherwise, what are we doing? I remember my mom, when she was alive, we lost her a year ago, just a little over a year ago. But I was watching her in those last years of her life, and I realized that she had a lot of regret. That if she had a chance to do some things in her life differently, she would. And the regret wasn't necessarily about what she did or didn't do. It was actually more around what she would have had more appreciation for, I think. But it pained me as her son to watch her in those days to have that regret. And the burden of that kind of regret, I think, is horrible. And I think that even if we don't achieve everything we had on that vision, but we achieve 80%, 70%, whatever it is, that's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. And so that plan then will be broken down, if you will, will be broken down into 90-day steps. Okay? Because we can't do the plan based on 10 years, 5 years, even 1 year. So think about this. We just break it down to 13-week sprints. 13 weeks, 13 weeks, 13 weeks. If we achieve the 90 days, then we can achieve the next 90, which will allow us to achieve the 1 year. If we achieve the 1 year and we keep doing the 90 days, we achieve the 5 year, we achieve the 10 year. That's what we do. We break it down. So we're going through the gateways of financial freedom. Now, in order to do it right, though, there has to be what I call a recipe. In other words, the recipe is, what are the ingredients you put in? How much do you put in? When do you put it in? Okay. This is the wealth priority ladder that we teach, which literally tells you what to do with every single dollar, when to do it. Okay. So that's the recipe that we follow. And I saw a lot of questions in the group around, hey, what's the 20%, the 25%, all that stuff. It's all answered here once you understand that, okay? So now you've got the vision, the plan, you've got the recipe, you're following the 90-day steps, but now we need to just check the pulse. Are we on the right trajectory? Are we moving forward? And this is where we start to look at the metrics of what we're doing. And this is the scorecards. These are the one sheets that you can look at to evaluate, hey, am I on track for this to make this happen? And then once we look at the metrics, it makes it really easy for us to adjust, because we're going to have to adjust just like a pilot does. It becomes part of the process. Okay. And that's that last piece of us adjusting. Now, once we have all the pieces in place, then the rest of what we're going to really focus in on here is simply repeat the process. People say, what do you do differently at this level versus when you first started out? And the answer is nothing. Nothing. I follow the recipe. I don't change my investments. I keep doing the same thing, and it keeps growing and growing. So why complicate it? And I think that's the thing that we want to start to really break down and understand. So how does it break down tactically? It breaks down in the way that I actually showed you previously, and really, let me get there. And so literally, as we broke this down, you've seen this before, we walked through it. We have three pillars in the whole process. And the first pillar is the earn pillar, which is really about your earnings machine. And this is a place where we spend the time. How do you scale and optimize your earnings? Because we need a bigger shovel. If we can get a bigger shovel without killing ourselves, that gets us accelerated to building our wealth faster. And so now you've got the earnings machine, you've got the money machine in the grow pillar, and then we have the shield to protect it. Okay, so these are the three things that we start to dig into, and literally each of the modules correspond with each of the accelerators. So as we go through this, each of the modules will break down. For instance, in the earn pillar, the first thing is the unshakable foundation. Really digging in and saying, what's the vision? What's the things that I need to have in place? What are the things that will define what I have, where I'm going, the gap between, and all the stuff that allows us to map it out. That then moves us into the second module, where we now look at it and say, okay, great. We know where we got to go. We know what the gap is. Now we're going to spend our time trying to figure out, how do we elevate the income? How do we find a bigger shovel? I talk about the 9 income elevators here and the 9 ways that you can bring in more money. And it's not just about, hey, just go drive 3 Uber, drives and deliver pizza. That's not the way to do it. There's a whole lot of other ways to do it that are much more effective. And we break it down in the 9 income elevators here and start to bring that in. Then we come back to that whole idea of metrics and saying, okay, how do we know we're on track? And so I give you the scorecards and the dashboards that you will track everything that you're doing in a way that we're tracking the needle movers, the things that actually will matter in what you're doing, why you're doing it, what it's going to do. That then will allow us to have the earnings machine optimized. And now we can look towards building the money machine. And the money machine starts with understanding the wealth journey. That means, listen, one of the things that I give you guys is a glossary of terms, but it isn't like a financial glossary of terms. It's taking the 3-syllable words and making them 1 syllable. Because I said, look, they love making the complexity of the language, the vocabulary, to keep us dependent on them. No. It doesn't need to be that way. Let's simplify it. Let's give you some easy to understand education so you know what it means to have an ETF, an index fund, all those things, but you know it in your terms. And what each of the different kinds of things. So if something comes up, you can look it up in the glossary if there's a question that and everything. And so you'll get access to all of it and bringing that in. So we start with the wealth education because that's the foundation. If we want you to grab the wheel, you've got to have the knowledge. So this isn't about you coming in and saying, I'm just going to use Mel and my chat GPT and I'll just ask him the questions. No. I want to plug you into the matrix. I want to feed you all the information. I want you to have the knowledge. And then the nuances and the execution, I can help with. But then you are fully self-sufficient to go and equipped to go and run the game, run it right, okay? Then we talk about asset allocation. Now we're building the machine. What kind of investments? What kind of portfolio? What do we look at? How do we look at the investments? Why should I have this? What's my risk profile? We break it all down for you. I literally, one of the things I give you here is it's called Profiles and Prosperity. I literally take the top investors' portfolios. So I got access to the top investors' portfolios. I break it down for you. What did they invest in? Why do they invest in it? What's the weaknesses? What are the strengths? I do it in 2 pages. It's really quick, really easy. So when it comes to designing your own portfolio and trying to figure out what to invest in, you have all their examples, the best portfolios out there. So you can break it down and follow along. Then we go to the next piece, and the next piece is let's just make it easy. Let's automate it. Let's put it on autopilot. So all this is going on in the background and you aren't sitting there having to pull the levers, do the dials, and sit at the desk staring at charts and doing the things. Let it run in the background, which is what we do. Now, I do trading, so I am looking at charts and I do some other things. But for my long-term investing and wealth building, it's happening in the background. It doesn't mean I don't look at it. I look at it regularly and I make decisions regularly, but it is not a job. And I know that it's running in the background. Once we do that, now we move to that third pillar, and that third pillar is saying, all right, how do I protect it? And so that first piece, we start to break down the dirty dozen dream destroyers, these specific risks that I have seen that have absolutely destroyed people's dreams. And the idea here in this module, in this pillar is this. There are risks. There's no way to not have risks. But the first thing is, are there risks that I can eliminate? So can I get rid of the risks? If I have something that someone can trip on, let's get rid of it. If I cannot eliminate it, then the question is, can I mitigate it? Can I reduce the exposure? Can I change it so it's not as risky? And then third, if I can't eliminate it and I can't mitigate it, then we talk about how do we insure it, okay? And so the idea here is to protect what you're creating, protect your machine, and protect your ability to create it and your legacy. And so the first thing is to understand where the risks come from, and that's what happens with the risk classification. And then we deal head on with one of the biggest risks out there, and that is debt. How do you get out of debt, stay out of debt? What causes people to stay in debt? What is bad debt? What is good debt? How to use debt strategically? How do you negotiate it? And then the final piece is then to say, okay, how can I put an armor around this? How can I put a moat around it so they can't get to me? Things like entities and trusts and copyrights and trademarks and all that stuff. Now, complete honesty, every state in the US and every country will have different laws. What I want you to do is understand the principles, and the principles are separating the risks and the exposures. So I give you something called the starfish advantage, how I look at it and how I separate things. And it allows you then to take that chart and go to your barrister, your solicitor, your attorney, and say, how do I make this work under the laws that I live under? Because I want to protect things. And they will then start to implement it on that basis. And so that's the thing. And I look at my job is that y'all, depending on age, stage, and circumstance, you have all kinds of different things here. There's red, there's yellow, there's green. It depends on where you're at. My job and the job of the Money Machine Blueprint over time is to turn the red and the yellow to green. That's what we want to do. Okay. And that's what we've tried to do with our clients since I started doing this more openly. In fact, this is one of our clients. You might know her, Britt Siva. And she actually was doing really well. She said, I didn't realize how much I didn't know about money. I had invested, I was doing well, had great income, but I didn't realize how fragile my position was. And now what she's done is she was able to build a solid strategy. She's got herself an unshakable foundation. She's now living in her dream home by the beach. Okay. And so that's where you can be. Now, I look at this and I go, this is about the time where you look at it and go, there are three types of people out here. Okay. There's three types of people out here and I'll bring back in the four journeys that come into play. Because if you remember, we have now, and we have our future. And time's going to pass. And so what's going to happen is that there are those people that will take whatever training they've gone through, and then they'll say, that was great. And then they'll just go, okay, that was great. And they put it on the shelf. Nothing changes. Remember, they do nothing different, but remember that wealth creation is a behavior. It's not something that just happens. We have to do something to make it happen. And so they tend to still live in that same uncertainty and that same fear. And that's when they end up down here, okay, in that drowning point that we talked about, okay, because of fear and uncertainty. But then there's another set of people. And those are the people that actually come in and they say, hold on a second, I think I can do some things with this. And they start to take what they learned, whether it's in the program or just in the live trainings, and they start to do the things, and they end up at that breakthrough point. And they're doing okay, but they're inconsistent with their results because they're not consistent with their actions and everything, because they're still living in a bit of uncertainty, but they're not necessarily in fear. And that also includes those folks that are kind of going here where they're at the freedom point. Okay. But these folks, both these groups, they're living in uncertainty of the outcome. They're testing it, but they're not committed to it. Okay. And all I'm saying is committed to their financial future, doing the things. It doesn't matter, like I said, it doesn't matter if I'm the who or someone else is the who, but committing to those things. But then there's that group, that third group of folks that actually get it. And they say, I'm going to do everything I need to do to make it happen. And they hit the affluence point. And you've seen all of this, but that's the game that is happening. When you look at how that plays out, you look at it over time. And one of the challenges I think that we have is that we take and make a decision without the understanding of the power of the moment in making the decision. And often we don't have the ability to understand the power of the decision you make, no matter what it is, until we have the gift of time. So I think about this. Back in 2006 or 7 or so, I went to a live training. It was something called the Learning Annex. It's no longer around. And there was a guy there that spoke. Y'all will recognize him because he's got big teeth, okay? And it's Tony Robbins. And I see this guy on stage and I thought, and I knew about him because of the infomercials and all that, but he got me. And in that, I said, I want to change things. I want to do things differently. And I want to change the way I do things. And so I decided to join his mastermind. Now, mind you, his mastermind back then was $65,000. It was a lot of money. And then when you put the travel in and all that stuff. And I remember talking with my wife one time. She says, was it worth it? And I go, it's a hard question to answer in the sense that if I took it in isolation, I might actually say, I don't know if it was worth it or not. But the series of events he put into place that started with him was huge. Because think about this. From that, joining that mastermind, I met this guy. He's Joe Williams. He was Tony's head trainer. This is him and I in South Africa. What an amazing trip. And Joe Williams, this was us in South Africa, working with an orphanage and everything. And Joe and I were there. Joe introduced me to the guy on my right. The guy on my right is Mark Victor Hansen. Mark Victor Hansen was one of the co-authors of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. He had me come out to Asheville to speak to his mastermind, and I spoke to his mastermind. And when I spoke to his mastermind, through Mark Victor Hansen, I met this guy, and you might recognize him. This was a while ago. We were all young. That's Brendan Burchard, okay? Brendan became one of my dearest friends. I run his events. I'm the voice that brings him out. I speak at his events. I am his financial advisor, his business advisor. He is my marketing advisor. He's officiated my son's wedding, all that. But leaving one of Brendan's events, one Monday morning, some of you have heard the story, at 5:30 in the morning, I run into this young lady. Now, I had no idea, but the bottom line is that this young lady, a year later, became my wife. So when you look at a decision with the gift of time, I look at this decision that was a $65,000 decision. Was it worthwhile? Yeah, because I would have not met Joe, which meant that I would have not met Mark, which meant I would have not met Brendan, which meant I would have not met the woman of my dreams. And now we are approaching 15 years married. So I want you to understand that the choices you make in a moment are not done in isolation either, and that there's a parade of things that gets set in motion for you. And can you just do this yourself? You certainly can. You can go hand it to a financial advisor, which is what a lot of people do, and they say, I'm just going to let someone else do it. I don't want to do it. And you relinquish control. That's one of the worst things I think you can do, because most don't integrate the financial, the wealth advice and the business advice and the job advice. And we can't ever abdicate or relinquish our financial future to someone else, because here's the thing, it's going to cost you $3,000 to $15,000 or more, depending what they're doing for you. But remember, the biggest thing that I think is really important is that no one is ever going to care for your legacy or your financial future as you do. That doesn't mean you have to do it. It just means that you have to be the one controlling it. And no one ever said learning more about being financially smart or financially free was the biggest mistake ever. Here's the deal. Here's what we do, the way we do it, okay? What's going to happen is that those that join in the Money Machine Blueprint, we start with this. We start to build your money machine plan at the very beginning. We figure out what your unique freedom number is. You have the visioning process that we take you through that breaks it down into 1, 5, and 10-year increments on a one sheet that you saw earlier that breaks it down. Once we have that, we start to look at the income to scale it, the 5 incomes and the 9 income elevators to really start to optimize and get you access to a bigger shovel to build it. That then says, all right, let's track it with your weekly progress and your essential evaluation scorecard to systematize it in a way. Then it's coming. Then we look at the wealth creation side, the portfolios, the risk, all of the stuff to bring it home. And I give you the rules to invest, how to evaluate the investment. I literally take you online to show you exactly what I'm looking at for on the different funds, how to look at it, why, all the things, break it down for you in step-by-step approach to allow you to make the decisions that you need to make in your life. And that then allows you to protect it too. So in a single sheet, and I'll make sure you have access to this, here's all the sessions that that come into play, okay? You have 9 sessions. These are all the accelerators, and then you have all the tools that come into play. And these are not all the tools that are there. There's more than that we break it down for you to make it easy. So in a nutshell, here's what it is, and here's what the investment is. So you get 9 online training sessions. Actually, it's not 9 modules. There's multiple training sessions in each of them that break it down into bite-sized steps. You're going to get 4 bonus group calls, and I'm actually going to extend the group calls to longer. I'm going to put more group calls. This is me live with you answering questions. Now, let me be clear. The coaching calls are for implementation and execution. It's not for me to teach you the content. The content is a curriculum that you get to revisit over and over again because it's a process I need you to integrate into your life. And the challenge with some of the content, I tried teaching this live once, but the problem is sometimes I need you to do homework, like go figure out this with the bank balance. And we can't sit there live waiting for it. So I want you to do the work, then bring the work so we can have a discussion and keep you moving forward. And so the coaching calls are me live with y'all, okay? Then we'll have a private Facebook group, which I haven't set up yet, that I will set up and invite you. I don't have another community. I would love to do something other than Facebook. Right now, we're going to use Facebook, and we may move it later because there's some options coming up that we're testing. But we'll have a private group to do this. And then we will give you access to the recordings. And something that I haven't let people know is I'm going to give you access to the transcripts and the audios too, which is not there. Now, there is a guarantee. The cost here right now is that it's total value of $20,000. You can join us today, $397, 6 payments of $397, or you can save 16% and just pay $19.97 to get access to all that. But I got more for you. But I want to hit on the guarantee, okay? Because I think this is really important. We have a guarantee, but it is a show your work guarantee. Okay, this isn't a sit back guarantee. This is wealth creation is a behavior. And that means that in order to create wealth, in order to start moving forward, you have to do something. And that means that the way the guarantee is structured is you have to do the work. If you don't do it, then it's not the process's fault. It's the fact that we didn't do it. And so the way the guarantee works is that it's a 30-day guarantee. Okay, but you have to document and do all the assignments. And if it doesn't fit, if you don't feel like it's empowering you and equipping you and moving you forward, then let us know. So there's a full guarantee, but you need to. Now, it's not a guarantee that you're going to hit all the investments. It's a guarantee that the process will work for you because it has worked for hundreds and hundreds of people. Okay. You can get through the assignments in that time frame. So for those that want to join me, here's the way to join. You can go 2 ways. You can go to joinmmbnow.com, or you can click that QR code. But I have some things that I want to give you to help you accelerate your path. This is complete without it. No, it is not $20,000. The value is $20,000, but you pay either 6 payments of $397 or 1 payment of $19.97. So no, you're correct. Okay, that's not the price. Not $20,000. Okay. So when you look at this, there's a couple things that I want to give you that will accelerate some of the things that you're doing. These are things that will be released to you a couple weeks out, 30 to 45 days, to 21 to 45 days, because I want you to focus on the core content first, okay? The first one is the Get Paid for Your Thoughts training. This is a 3-day training that I did live that I'm known for creating frameworks and helping people with their thought leadership. I do not teach this live anymore, okay? I focus solely on the financial, but one of the best ways to increase your income is to sell your knowledge, to package it in a way that is unique and distinct. And so I break down exactly how to create the frameworks, how to create your distinct positioning, how to build your thought leadership, your proprietary process in this live. It's recordings of my live training that you get full access to, unlimited access to. The second accelerator that I have for you is the one that I talked about, the profiles and prosperity. This is the portfolios, the example portfolios that I break down for you in simple ways, and I give you my commentary on the pros and cons of each, so you know exactly what to do. Okay. The third gift I'm going to give you, this is like I said, I'm going to extend the office hours for another 2 months. Extend the office hours for another 2 months so I can be with you, make sure that you're implementing, keep you moving forward on the right path. All of them are recorded. If you can't be on the Q&A, I'll have you send the questions in. I'll make sure that we get them answered on the recording so you get the answers you need, as well as in the group. Then this is something I have not offered before. I did a 1-hour training on how do you do a dynamic plan for your finances. And so I want to give this training to you, which is a deep dive training in how do you build a dynamic financial plan. In other words, one that adjusts with your situation even more so than what we have in place. And then from there, for those of you that are especially in the entrepreneurial space, this is something that I did with a dear friend of mine, Chris Harder, that we talked about, and we did a whole training around entrepreneurial cash flows. How do you manage the cash flows as an entrepreneur, and how do you integrate that into your wealth building journey? And then for those that join today, I added another bonus, which is the Wealth Unleashed Summit. This was a summit that I did with Kate Northrup, Shannon Weinstein, Chris and Lori Harder, when I released the book, talking about their journey in financial freedom and what it looks like and how to make it happen. So that's what I have for you. Now, there's a couple of other things. If we look at it, this is everything that comes in. This is actually my money machine master plan. This is that. It's application only. I take a handful of people. This is not the $5,000 a month. This is a $9,000 investment, but this is where I personally, one-on-one with you, spend the time to help build your financial plan. It includes Money Machine Blueprint, help build your financial plan, and you get access to the investment portal to navigate that plan and build it out. That is a hugely powerful portal. And like I said, it's application only. I take on a dozen or so spots because it's me personally doing it with you. But here's everything that you get. Now, there's a couple things that I added in just last minute that I want you to know. So some of you, like we said, is this idea of, well, I'm in another country. Well, this is where I created the country account conversion guide, where you start to be able to look at it and say, okay, Mel's talking about an employer match and the free money. How does that apply in Canada? How does it apply in the UK? How does it apply? So I break it down for you account by account so you can bridge that one module across those lines. The other thing that I did is when I talk about investments, what is the access to investments in the countries in the US, Canada, UK, and Australia primarily? Can I get DIY? Can I get discount brokers? Can I get robo-advisors? What about the different markets and the index funds and ETFs I can get? So I wanted to make it really easy for you to do that. The other thing that I decided to add in, oh, come on, face, is I'm going to give you my whole checklist and flowchart library. So if you ever want to make a decision, now these are primarily US based, but if you're trying to figure out, can I do a distribution? Should I do an exchange for a rental property? Do I want to make a 529 an IRA transfer? It literally walks you through it. Okay. The other thing that I have for you is the checklists that literally you can use depending on what you're doing. As a retiree, what issues should I consider? Okay. And this is a checklist. And I'm going to give you the whole library, and give you access to all of it. So the bottom line is this: I want to give you as many tools as possible, but I want to guide you in the process, like I have with Brendan Bouchard, okay, or Brandon Lucero, who said, his net worth keeps going up, or the Fit Rocker chick. This is the game that I want to play with you, and I hope that you get a chance to join me in it. And the way to do that is to go to joinmmbnow.com and make it happen. All right, join me, and I'm going to open up for questions here in a moment. But before I do, I just want to say this: our journey together has been a gift to me, and I also know that we all have a life to live, but it is a life that I think that we are meant to live fully expressed. And that's the thing that I want to make sure we do. And the way you do that is to have a machine that allows you choice. There's a couple of other things that I just realized I didn't put in here that I want to make sure you know, that I'm going to give you the Business Builder Toolkit. But one more thing. This was the big one. I don't know where we are on this. I know that there's people that have joined already, but the first 12 will get one-on-one coaching with me. Now, this is after you go through the training so I can help you execute and implement. But I remember the fast acting first 12 in. I might see my calendars. I might extend it to 15, but I can't go any further than that because the Money Machine Master Plan will take up some of the spots and all that stuff. But that's the other thing. I totally forgot about this, and I go, that's a big thing that's there. So, but the bottom line is this: y'all have been given a certain number of slices of life. You've also been given 3 gifts in your life, and those 3 gifts, they're the gifts of time. And the question really is what you want to do with your time. And I think that the greatest thing that gives us richness in our life is having agency over time. The second is to, let me put this in, joinmmbnow.com. So the second is the gift of talents. You got skills, you got strengths, you got knowledge. How are we going to use that to create legacy? How are we going to use that to make things better? And then you got the gift of treasures. The treasures are the people that you surround yourself with, the experiences you create, and why we do the things. And here's the thing: when I got the cancer and I got through it, someone asked me, "Did it change you?" And I said, it's kind of a crazy question. Yeah, it changed me. It changed me because for the first time in my life, I actually understood what my mom and dad said when they said you had a limited time here on earth. Because all of a sudden, it was true. I realized that my days are numbered, but I hope that there's lots of them. The slices of life that you have, I hope that there's lots of them. But the other side of it is this, is that if I didn't live fully into those slices of life, I was disrespecting the 3 gifts. And if I disrespected the 3 gifts, then I disrespected my wife, my son, my grandkids, the doctors that fought to give me my life and keep my life going. That I can't do. And that's the thing that I realize, is that the reason we need choice in our life is so we can live into the gifts that we've been given. And you all have unique gifts. To live fully into them, so at those last days, those last moments, you know that it was a life well lived, but it was a life lived on your terms. Because I truly believe that financial freedom is your birthright. But it's not the financial part of it that really gets me going. It's the freedom part. And I want that for each of you. And whether that is with me, and I hope it is, as your guide by your side, then great. I welcome you into the family. If it isn't, then just make sure that you find the right who. And that you stay on this journey, because you made a commitment, you made a decision when you joined me on this journey already to take control of your financial destiny. Don't let it stop here. Stay in the game. Stay with me or someone else, and stay on the journey to financial freedom, because your future is waiting. And no matter what is said, no matter what goes on, no matter what trials, tribulations, situation comes in, the one thing I want you to remember is to never, ever, ever stop dreaming, because your dream's coming. Thank you, and God bless. All right. All right, y'all. I'm going to open it up for questions. We can talk about some of the questions on the Money Machine Blueprint and make it happen. Thank you for being here. This was fun and rocking and rolling. Here we go. Oh, we got some giveaways to go. Hold on a second. Gift number 2 is talents. Hold on a second. We got some giveaways to do. Who won? 1 second. No one won because I've got it right here. Let's do this. Y'all, I know it's small, but I got everyone's name on this spinning wheel. I forgot all about the giveaways. Well, I got all into it. All right. The first giveaway I'm going to give away. All right. Easy one. It's going to be my book. Okay. Well, here's what's going to happen with the book. You're going to get the book sent to you via Amazon. Then I'm going to send you a signed book plate. It is a custom made book plate that will be so you'll be able to put it on the inside cover. That means that you have a signed copy of my book. And the first person that wins this is, let's go here. Let's hope this works. Oh, hold on. I think I have to do it here. Yeah, that's the wrong one. There we go. Who is it? Jason Nicholas. I know him. I got to put him down. He won a book. Congrats, Jason. All right. Next one I want to do is a $25 Amazon gift card. $25 Amazon gift card coming to someone. Here we go. The MMB content is lifetime access. Yes. Rika. Now I know Rika's in Italy. So I'm gonna put Rika in here. Congratulations. All right. Oops. Spin again. This one's for another Amazon gift card. $25 going to Sammy Garrett. We gotta put in here just for fun. Congrats. All right, so now we're gonna go back to the book. And we'll do another book. Rebecca Missinick. I think I saw you on here. I don't think I pronounced your name right. I apologize, but oops. All right, this one is for another Amazon gift card. Magali. $25 coming your way. All right, so let's do this. So let's do this. I also have, so the next one's going to be Apple Pencil. Apple Pencil. Okay. So here we go. Apple Pencil coming to, who is it? Oh, I don't have the whole list on there. You can't see the whole list. I've got well over 100 and something people on here. So, oh, she won again. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Now, oops. This one's for another Apple Pencil. Matt Smith. Okay. Let's go back to Amazon. Amazon $50 gift card for this person. Sarah Norris. We will reach out to you guys by email on this, but because the books, I'm going to need addresses. All right, one more book coming to. Ariana Hung. All right. Got something fun here, and then we're going to do the grand prize. Okay. The next one. So, y'all, I use these cameras called the, how do I get this so you can see it? It's the Osbod 4K Meet 2 cameras. And I love them. I've got multiples with them. I travel with them. They're these small little square cameras, and the picture is amazing and everything. So the next one is going to get that. So we're going to award the Meet 2 camera to Axis. All right. All right. Now, let's do, whoops. All right. So now, I'm going to give away a one-on-one session with me. It's called a Meet, M-E-E-2, M-E-E-T 2, Osbot. Okay. Love the camera. And I love traveling with it because it's small and it's easy. And it hooks directly to the computer. All right. The one-on-one, here we go. Tomas. All right. Listen. Now, my team's going to hate me for this because my schedule is so crazy, and you just have to bear with me to do this. I like giving things away. I'm going to do one more one-on-one. All right? I want to do one more one-on-one because I love chatting with y'all. Okay? So let's just see one more one-on-one. Who gets it? I don't know the last name here. Renee, I guess, or Rennie. We will reach out to you. So, oh my God! Congratulations to all the winners, all the folks, all the ones that joined. Y'all, do me a favor. Tomorrow morning, by the way, I'm going to open up for questions here in a second. But tomorrow morning, I will be live with some guests. So join us tomorrow morning. Have some more fun. We'll do some things to make it fun, and at the same time, check out the Money Machine Blueprint. Love to see you part of it. Love to be by your side and continue this journey. Give you the tools, deep dive, and really walk you through. Really spending the time with you to get it implemented in your life. Okay, go to joinmmbnow.com or click the QR code. You'll get some more emails about it. All this. This video will be up on the replay page also and everything. So I'm going to open up. I'm going to open up for questions. I had some questions come in. One was about, in other countries. I hope that I showed you that we've got a bridge there to help you navigate the differences between Canada, UK, and Australia at least. And I'm working on bringing in and doing a special training with advisors in each of those countries during our time to bring that training in at the same time. And then the other thing is that some people say, what if I can't start right away? You get lifetime access. Remember, this is not a program that you digest once. This is a process that we need to integrate in our life. It's why I give it lifetime access. And so the best time to start educating and working towards financial literacy is now. And so it's not about, hey, you got to get it done in 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. It's a lifetime journey. Okay. You get access to the training starting as soon as you sign up. You'll start with the onboarding and all that stuff. And then I'm still scheduling all the coaching calls, but I have a welcome call next week that we're going to do with all the new folks to make that happen. Now I see some questions about what's the difference between this and Affluence Blueprint. There's some similarities, but I completely redid the whole thing. I went deeper on a lot of things that I realized I need to expand on. So it's a different program. Some of the frameworks are the same, but it's a very different program. It goes deeper than in some areas. It's lighter in other areas. The Money Machine Blueprint really dives in deeper on the mindset stuff, the investing stuff, and everything to really start to make it happen. Okay. What does Ali say? If you have a question, do me a favor, put a Q in there so I can capture them, and I can also bring you on if need be, but I can at least capture the questions and make sure that I answer all of them to make that happen. So let me just see if I can see the questions that have been coming in question. Ali says, I'm new to your Zoom sessions and don't know much about any of this. I try to hop on Zoom sessions when I can, the kiddos, support my family. But being new to all this, where would you suggest I start? I have your book in my cart. The book is good, but if you want guidance along with it, then the program is much, much better. But if you have not gone through the replays, maybe the first place to do is to go to the replays. You can get the replays, get access to the replays at moneymachinereplay.com because they'll be up for a little while. This offer with the bonuses and everything is available until midnight on Thursday. So you have some time, and I'll be around to ask questions. There's also a little thing in the corner of the registration page, a little picture of me and a video. If you have a question, click on that. Send it to me. It comes directly to me. It doesn't go to the team. I'll answer the question personally. Okay? I don't know when the live calls are. I'm working on that, Jody. We're working on that. Everything will be recorded. I'm going to try to change the time frame so we can hit a lot of the different time zones, because I know that that's a challenge for folks. Let's see. Let's look at. I had to get off for a moment, but I don't know if David, I haven't seen your name, but okay. Thank you for wisdom and insight. Any other questions? I see a hand up. Let's see here. Here's this. Will you be offering this? I only will offer this once a year. I'm just starting my business with James, and I don't have much time or money to commit to that now. I need to get my sales program launched. David, stay with me on it, and we'll see what we can make work for you. Okay. The questions directly to me, just on the registration page, you'll see a little icon in the bottom right corner. And if you click on that, you can either text me, video me, audio me, and it comes directly to me, and I'll answer the questions. Okay. Arhan, just send me a note directly. Karen, I'm just trying to see. Okay, let me do this. Edith, you still have a question? Hold on a second. Let me see if I can bring you up. Come on in. There we go.
Okay, good.
How are you?
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, thank you. I'm fine. Completely addicted. I don't know how to thank you.
Oh, you say that.
I'm so glad because my husband is 100% also into it. I watch, I don't know how many times the replays. I did, I think 4 times before getting finally a 17 on the test. But anyway. I have a question.
Yeah.
I digged deeper on your knowledge and what you brought, and if we have to start, and I 100% have my 10 to start no matter what, with James in the pocket for the business as well. I looked at the saving part. So you remember I'm in Portugal,
Yep.
Europe, or France. And I got completely depressed when I look at the saving account. I don't have savings at all. I don't have debts, but I don't have savings. And it's like 1.3% or 2% at the maximum you can find. And eventually, with a very particular account, it's 2.7. And you were speaking about like 4 or 4.5%.
Yep.
How am I going to get there? Because even after, if I, for example, put 500 per month,
Yep.
which will allow me to have 6,000 per year. I mean, it's like I will earn $75 in a year.
So here's the thing. If you don't have access to that, then so watch what's going to happen. And this is for everyone. As the Fed starts to decrease interest rates here in the US, those high yield savings accounts are going to go away. We're not going to get that again. I mean, if the rates go up, the benefit of the interest rates going up was the fact that the high yield savings accounts were paying more. So at some point, it's a temporary fix because at some point we'll have to transition to other types of things like CDs and ladders to do that. So you may be in a situation where we have to look at other types of investments other than a high yield savings account that would be workable for you because you may just not have access to it, which is totally fine. So we gotta navigate what you have available in your market space and marketplace to get what will work. The whole purpose is this. The principle is we want to get cash in an account for emergencies that is safe, making some money and completely liquid. So that's the principle. Now we have to find the vehicle to make it happen. In the US and in some of the other countries, we can use high yield savings accounts. In your situation, we may not. We may have to look at different instruments to make that happen.
Okay, when I spoke to some broker, because it happens that I try to dig in deeper to try really to speak with some specialists, they are all into the crypto. And I heard you making the comments on the second or third video questions that you're not to that. I was so happy and glad to have that answer. But they seem obsessed with that. And no matter, and it's difficult. I'm listening and as you said, they believe in it. So fine. But when you try to open up on something else, it's a kind of difficult path. And there's already a kind of friction when we haven't even started.
Well,
so
I get that.
Strange.
But what we need to do is find the right person for you that understands your vision. They're not there to shove it down your throat. And if they're trying to push you into a crypto type of investment, then they're probably not the right person. So
your team in UK will be able to serve the other parts because UK is a little bit different also from the rest of Europe.
So the idea is to bring an advisor in that can speak directly to some of the mechanisms beyond what I have added to the program with the tables and stuff. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
You got it.
That's just, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
You got it. Now, I got a couple questions. Let's see, from just confirming how many group. Okay, so let me do this real quickly. Stephanie says, is there any material on working with your spouse, significant other? Can our significant others work with us on having access together? Y'all, this is a really good question and it's hugely important. This is not a siloed pursuit. If you have someone that is in your life that is your significant other, an intimate partner, spouse, whatever you want to call them, I want them on the journey with you, because financial becomes one of the biggest friction points in any relationship. And what happens is that we don't understand how to have conversations around the money. It's not the money that's the friction. It's the conversation that's the friction. I actually wrote something that's actually going to be released soon called Love and Money. And I may do a special masterclass on that, which I would invite you to as part of it. But the point is that if you have a spouse, I want them going through this too. The idea is this: I want you to take the knowledge into your world to build and start building your money machine in your world. Then I want you to be able to transfer the knowledge to your kids, to your heirs, because we don't transfer assets without skill sets. And so we need to transfer the knowledge to do that. And so the long answer to your question is, hell yeah, bring the spouse along. Okay? That's really important. And how you can manage both programs is simply this, is that you've got lifetime access to both. So let's just take small steps in both programs. And what will probably happen is that at the beginning, I might have you doing, and because I know both programs intimately, is that we may say, hey, let's just focus 70% on BBD. Let's get that earnings machine running. And then let's get the money machine built, the foundation, and then we can get them balanced out. But remember, you got lifetime access to it. We'll get you through both of them, because the mistake that a lot of entrepreneurs make is I'll build my business first, but they don't build the wealth. And that was the mistake that James himself made. And it wasn't until we spent some time and he started building the wealth where he had more freedom in the business. And so we want to make sure that when you build the business side of it, you build it with an eye towards how is it going to be used, not just to make money, but to build wealth. Okay. Andrea, just confirming, how many group calls will there be? I think you said 4 bonus calls. The biggest thing I'd love help with is the recipe for wealth, the priority ladder. Oops, you just went away. Okay. Will we have a group call where I could yes, absolutely. You'll have where you can ask personal questions. I'll speak more personally to your personal situation if you're asking the questions. Absolutely. And I'm really clear up front when we start the calls that it is confidentiality is the utmost importance. Nothing gets shared. You're not going to see me take a coaching call and cut it up and say, that's going to be good on social. Not going to do it, because that's not fair. And I want you to be open, and I want you to be honest and everything, and do that. So yeah, absolutely. Now, how many calls? I don't know what the count is. It's going to be 8 or 10 calls, and if I need to, I'll add more. I love having the conversations. So I didn't do the count on it. I just know that I'm going to add an additional 4 weeks of calls. So now we don't actually send the workbooks in physical form. They're all electronic, so you can work with them either electronically. I do mine on my iPad, or you can have them printed. Okay. Aaron, will we be, if we join this cohort, will you be able to join future cohorts of the live coaching calls? You will continue to be part of the journey as we go through it. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I will get the live calls. I'm just looking to see if I missed any other questions. I see a couple of hands up. So let me go. Is it Carolyn or Caroline? I apologize if I mispronounced it, but let me bring you up.
No, you're good. I don't care which way it's pronounced. I'm Carolyn, though.
Carolyn.
Hi.
So good to see you. Whoops. Nice
to see you too. So I inadvertently somehow got onto these calls because I guess I'm in James Wedmore's program. Yeah. So, and it shocked me.
Did it feel like you were being punished or something?
Absolutely. No, but but it was shocking that I could be converted, being that I've never had like any interest in anything financial. And now I'm like walking around sharing everything that you say with other people. So it's very odd. I mean, I didn't watch all the calls, but I was able to extrapolate enough information to convey it to people. Like, but okay. So here's the thing. I hate talking and but I just don't like it. But all right. So I messed up my entire financial situation. I'm evaluating whether this would be good for me. I am in James Wedmore's program, but I haven't even done it because I'm overextended in my time commitment. And it's not the best time to invest financially, but I feel called to it, like intuitively. So I messed up because I actually had like about $1 million that I totally destroyed. Yep. Yeah, it's bad. It's not good because I didn't have anyone I didn't trust myself at all to invest. I just didn't trust myself at all. And I didn't trust anyone who was around me, which was accurate judgment. But so I look at it like, I don't know that I'm never going to ask for a money back guarantee because I don't know if I'm going to be on your 30-day or 90-day plan or how fastidious I'll be. But I guess I'm evaluating the value from being ignorant to having good financial knowledge and being much more responsible with what I do have left. Because I still have a 401k. And I also mentioned the high yield savings account. That's what I was using. So now you're letting me know that the interest benefit, which is already depreciated, is going to continue to go down.
Depending what the Fed does, and over time, at some point, it's not going to be as lucrative.
Yeah. It's been less in the past while. Like I don't monitor it closely, but I feel like the interest rate already dropped on that account.
It did because they just decreased the interest rate.
Yeah. Okay. And I don't follow this, but so yes, I'm just kind of trying to get a picture of like if I'm not going to be in your like 90-day total, because I don't predict myself well. Like I'm not sure my next moves.
Yeah.
But
So here's my thinking on it. One is that we first got to get you the foundation, so stuff like this doesn't happen to you again. It's not me selling investments or insurance or anything. It's actually me saying, hey, let's just do the simple thing. Let me show you this. The second thing is that even if you can't make the coaching calls live, or you're in that, one, you'll have the recordings, but two, you'll have the community, and I will still do. So here's the thing. I was doing a weekly live show, and so I may do. I'm bringing that back. And what I was going to do is that once the calls stop, I would highly prioritize all the questions from the people that are part of the program. And if I have enough, I'm just going to do another call. Because here's what I'm called to do is that post-cancer is to really go out and serve. It's to be out there speaking on stages, serving the people that are on the journey. And so for me, service is either me getting on Zoom, having a call. So I have no problem doing additional calls. All of a sudden I got a bunch of people saying, hey, I got these questions. Great. Let me just schedule a call. Let's do it. Like even this thing with love and money. I don't want to just hold it. I'm going to turn around and come to everyone that's part of MMB and go, hey, I'm doing this, join me. Let's go through it. And so I think that you don't completely lose access, and you certainly have access to all the training and the Q&A calls and then the community. And if something comes up, that you are just going, I'm concerned about this, or I'm not sure about this, just freaking tag me. I'm not going to say, hey, it expired, tough on you, because then I'm not living to my values, and God forbid something happens to you again and you lose money again. I couldn't sit back and go, pardon the expression, I'm a real jerk that I could have answered a question that kept you safe, and I chose not to because I was transactional. I'm not transactional.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have lifetime access. The first 12 people can work with you privately once.
They'll get a one-on-one call with me. Yeah. And
Okay.
what I try to
And
do with that one is wait till you've gone through the program so we
yeah,
can talk about
yeah,
implementing.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And you think just this knowledge itself, even if I'm not like as fastidious, will serve me just to have the, like, I feel like I've already understood a lot in a
Yeah.
short time.
You'll get the rules of investing. You'll get the way to the questions to ask the advisors and those kinds of things. You'll get things to keep you safe. Is the thing. Investments in general, there's always risk associated with it. But the way I try to get it is to say, how do we reduce it as much as possible? If the market goes down, everyone's portfolio goes down. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the key is that the stuff that you need now, we don't have in the market. So when the market goes down, it has time to recover and we have it somewhere else. So it's safe. And that's where we start to get into allocation and where we put the money. So,
Okay. So when the market goes down, okay, that, yeah. Okay.
yeah.
All right. Thank you.
You got it. Thank you for being here. And I look forward to it. Thank you, Caroline.
Yeah. I think I'm in.
All right. Awesome. Let me know. I see Michelle is next. I'm going to come to you, Michelle. And then I'll go back to the chat.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. First of all, I'm 71.
Well, you don't look 71.
And I have just come out of a 6-month program called the Financial Freedom Academy, which was all about wealth creation. So I have now, I have set up some index funds. I also have had previously invested in gold and also shares in a gold mine. Plus I have private equity as well. So I am moving along that route, but because of my age, now the other thing is I'm actually resurrecting my career, having been retired for about 20 years. And I'm planning now on just working until I drop, essentially. The word retirement doesn't even enter my mind.
Is that by choice or is that by need?
No, it's by choice.
Okay.
Because absolutely by choice.
Good.
Because
I'm the same way.
I know I can make money because I had a business back in the day and it was amazing. And it was very successful. I'd worked 20 years building up to that point, but then I sabotaged it for various reasons. Then I went off on a kind of spiritual route for many years. And now I've come back, having worked with Tony Robbins and various Dean Grazioli, various people. I've done loads of that sort of stuff. So my problem isn't attracting money, it's keeping it, investing. I leak it, it just slips through my fingers. But this 6-month program that I've just come out of, is all about looking at my money beliefs and, why I don't value it, why I just let it slip through my fingers and so on. And I have started making these investments. So I really do have got a different take on it all. And I just want to say thank you because you've given such good value over these, webinars, should we call masterclasses that you've done. They've been fantastic. And I'm always very tempted because I'm a person that says yes to everything. I have invested an enormous amount of money in programs and courses because I was left a small legacy by my parents. And you won't be surprised to hear that I've got through 2/3 of it. So I'm kind of up against it now, but I'm the sort of person that I need a deadline to get me going, kind of thing. Need a bit of a rocket up my arse. So that's kind of the state that I'm in now. And I'm going to be starting, it's actually a coaching business, but I've got other irons in the fire and I'm going to, I'll have multiple streams of income. So I wanted to ask you, because I wanted to thank you, because I think you've given tremendous value, but also in my situation, let's say that I might start to want to draw on whatever I've saved up when I'm maybe in 10 years' time or something. Obviously, I'm going to need to work out my freedom number in terms of what I'm going to have to put in. But in a way that helps me because then I know what I've got to earn.
Yeah. You know where the finish line is, or at least the enough point is.
And it's great to know that you say you should put in, I mean, at least 25%.
20 to 25. Yeah. In your case, probably 25.
Of the earnings.
Yeah.
But what you didn't mention, I just wanted to see what your view is, because they usually say if you're at my age now, you rather want to look in investing in bonds. Now, I mean, I don't know. I just wanted to see what your view was.
So it's interesting. I just did an episode on my show about the bond market. And I thought this was going to be the episode that people go, it's boring. You know, it's got literally in a few weeks, it's got 137,000 views. It's gone nuts. So bonds have a place in certain people's portfolios. The question really becomes, if we were to look at just in general, is that you have short term, mid, and long. Okay. So short term is within 3 to maybe 5 years. Midterm is 5 to 8 years, maybe 9 years, and then this is greater than 9 to 10 years. Okay. This stuff most of the time is going to be more invested in equities. Okay. If we just look at this is going to be more invested in high yield savings, or treasuries, possibly bonds with little exposure, a bond ladder or something. This will be a combination of both.
Yeah, difference between treasuries and bonds. I thought they were the same. No.
Well, we call treasuries short-term. Treasuries are shorter term, and bonds are longer term. That's all. Yeah. But the bottom line is what you would do is take and create buckets of time for when your needs are, in order to make sure that your asset allocation is correct. So the short-term bucket is stuff that you want to make sure is safe and not going to have volatility. The long term, we can accept more volatility because we have more time. The midterm, we're going to balance it out a little.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying for the short term, that would be bonds.
It could be short-term bonds. It could be a bond ladder. I run a bond ladder in my portfolio. It could be high yield savings account. It could be CDs. What we're trying to do is make sure that we don't put the principal at risk.
What are CDs?
Certificate of deposit.
Okay, I don't know what that is, but anyway, yeah. And then the midterm would be index funds. Did you say?
It would probably be ETFs and index funds, broad-based, but you would also have a mix in there of income types of mature companies, but also possibly some bond allocation there too that might be longer term.
And then the long term was equities, but not
mostly
as in
equities, but still you wouldn't be 100% equities there. You'd probably still be in the 70 to 80% equities, which is stock markets, ETFs, and index funds too.
And what do you think about precious metals, gold and silver?
I don't own much in the way of precious metals because they're a good store of value. They're not a good use of value, and they don't accrete value. And the only reason they go up is when other people buy into it. And they're not easy to store. They're not easy. If I'm going to actually get the gold and all that stuff and store it, I think they're a good store of value, and we can have it as a ballast in the portfolio, but it's not where we put most of our investing.
Okay. So the separate this thing that you did on bonds, is that something I could watch?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's on my YouTube channel. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Okay.
Thank
you very much.
Awesome. And then I think Carolyn, you've got your hand up. Are you want to come on?
Oh, no, sorry. I'll put it down.
All right.
Sorry about that.
Cool. All right, let me see. I got some other questions that came in. Let me answer them. Okay. What would be the best strategy for someone who's prioritizing paying off debt and elevating income, who would be purchasing on credit cards, 6 payments or 1 payment? It depends, Andrea. If you're still on, I don't know if you're still on. If you're still on, reach out to me and let's have a conversation to make sure that we make the right decision specifically for you, because I want to see what you have available to you that makes sense. Okay. But I think that if the question is, if I did 1 payment, if you did 1 payment, how long do you think it would take to pay it off? And what kind of interest rate is on it compared to just doing the 6 payments and not worrying about that? Because if you did the 6 payments, you can get a 30-day leeway for each of the payments, type of a thing. So I think that reach out on that little icon on the bottom of the registration page. Okay. On the bottom of the registration page. And click that and then send it to me, or you can DM me. I mean, I'm on socials and all that stuff. So Jess is asking, does my book have a dictionary? It's got a glossary, some of it in there, but no, it doesn't. The book doesn't have a dictionary. So yeah. Are you looking for a glossary? It says, oh, that's the word I was looking for. So a glossary. You have, so it does have, like, let me see if I can bring this up for you so you can see it. You see this here? So right here, it's the language of money made easy. So there is an appendix that shows, that has some of the language in there. It's not the complete one that I have in the program, but there's some, because I got to deal with the publisher saying, not too much information, cut it out. So those are the things. Cool. Other questions? Any about Money Machine Blueprint and all that stuff? I see some old friends on here too. Arhan, so good to see you. I hope you're well. So, let's see. Stephanie, let me bring you up. How you doing?
Hi, Mel. I'm going to take my headphone off. One
Okay.
sec. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you fine. Oh,
Okay.
but we're getting an echo now because your headphones are off.
Okay, I'll shut them off. Sorry about this.
All good, all good.
So, I think I'm just, I think that's better.
Yep, I got a little bit of an echo, but let's see if we can make it work. No, it's gonna echo.
I'm gonna fix. Okay, I fixed it.
Okay,
So I want to thank you for your patience.
you're so welcome.
And your thoughtfulness. And people have been asking a lot of questions about very specific accounting issues or mathematical issues. I'm struggling more with fear. And
Yeah.
you talked a lot about behavior. I'll just give you a sentence or two. I lived in a Buddhist monastery for a long time. And the whole mindset was about poverty and giving and serving. And I've continued to do a lot of that. The biggest obstacle that I have is the behavior change and the fear.
Yeah.
And you've talked a little bit about the support. Like, by having specific homework and specific tasks, I think that is a really valuable thing for someone who is, who, you know, who is struggling with that. Could you just speak a little bit to the transition of, look, the practical things you've talked about make lots of sense.
Yeah.
But behind that is I have to take those actions.
Yeah.
And even like my goal for myself this week, I'm going to be joining. My goal for myself this week is to see if I can open a high interest savings account with $10.
When you first get into the program, there's some pre-work that I have in there. And one of the first training sessions is all on fear. Because now there's a different thing that might be, and I don't know that that's the case in your situation, but there's elements that create fear, especially when it comes to financial fear. But in your situation, one of the things that we might be navigating is not just fear, but a values conflict that is relative to, well, if I do well, I'm not doing good. And I had to kind of navigate that myself, because I was in a, you know, my dad was an engineer. It was like, just go get a job, work your job, and just do your thing. But when I started to understand that money was this paintbrush, this tool that I could use that allowed me to perpetuate a message, that allowed me to have a choice to do things, it made it easier for me to slowly shift and understand that the money itself, the wealth creation itself, is neither positive or negative. It's how I deploy it that creates that. And so as long as I can stay connected to my set of values and move forward in alignment and congruent with that, because we can't stay in conflict with our values for long term anyways. And so that it allowed me to navigate that more readily, and having colleagues, peers, and friends that understood what my values are, what I say I stand for is, and giving them the permission to call me out on it if I step out of line in a loving way, allowed me to just say, because there are things where, you know, and my wife is probably one of the best at it because she knows me so much, and that she'll call me out if I misstep. So I think that there is an element likely of fear, but there's also this element of the values that we need to make sure that we navigate, because we've been in, you know, you've had this indoctrination and everything into the concept of not having it. But imagining what if I had that, not for the sake of having it, but for the sake of serving with it, how does that shift things? And that's the thing that I think, that's why my primary focus is say, I want you to have wealth, but I don't want you to have wealth without the rich life. And the rich life is the experiences you create, the feelings you have, the people you have, the movements and the missions, because absent that, there's no fulfillment. It's just a statistic in a bank account. And that's the thing that I don't, there's people that have come to me and say, can you just help me make money? And I go, yes. But when I understand their motivations and their values, I say, I can't work with you. I'm just not the right guy. There's plenty of people out there that will help you do that and not care what you do with it. I think that but I think what our world needs is people who care, people that that really start to build it out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can you just briefly identify a couple of the things that will help with taking action? You mentioned that the first part will be on fear. Just a couple of the tools that you think will be useful in feeling the fear and taking the actions anyway.
Well, there's the what I call the stack of lack and fear, which I walk through six things that we want to walk through to see what's causing the fear, what are the triggers for it, and how to solve those. We talk about the money story paradigm and dynamic. How do we break that down and break those walls down? But then the other side of it is, I think, getting really vividly clear on your vision and your why is the thing that informs everything we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds great. I value a lot of the information, not a problem, but this will be an interesting journey, and I'm excited and a little terrified. So
Well,
thank you.
I am here for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You got it. Thank you. And besides, you got the same name as my wife, Stephanie. And wait, you spell it with an F too, which is what she does. So cool. Thank you. All right. What is this? How do I pronounce that? Is it AYSE? Is it ICE? How do I pronounce that? Not a question about money, but rather admiration and appreciation. I really admire the way you use technology to share that shifts the camera. As a online facilitator who's younger and considers myself fairly tech savvy, I'm generally, thank you so much. Really appreciate everything you shared. I do use a Stream Deck. I do use a Stream Deck, Nikki, actually. So the technology is I have 2 Stream Decks here. I have 2 Stream Deck pedals below the desk. And I have everything set up with scenes and stuff that allow me to do this. Now, I didn't start this way. I started with one. I literally had my stepson. We adopted my son's half brother, stepbrother, and everything as our own. And he was a gamer, and he says, "Oh, you got to do this." I said, "That's for gamers." He says, "No, watch." So he got me hooked. And next thing I know, I went from 1 Stream Deck to 2 to pedals. I even travel with a Stream Deck, so if I do anything on the road, yeah. So, I'm a tech geek on that stuff. So, David, you got your hand up, man. You want to come on? Did you take your hand down?
I'm good here.
All right.
How you doing, Mel? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. Let me see if I can pull you up, though.
I'm on camera.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. Hold on. Bump, bump, bump. Yeah, the camera's not. It's okay. I can hear you.
Awesome. So I just wanted to thank you. I've kind of gone on a journey of mobilizing the ministry that I was supposed to be doing since 2012. Finally said enough is enough. It's time to do it.
Yep.
And in my search, I was blessed to be able to come across phenomenal guys like Dean Graziosi, James Wedmore, Jimmy Carter III, Jess Glazer, and then through James, I got hooked up with you.
Oh my God.
And I'm just blown away. Like, so the biggest thing is overcoming the fear of just doing it and taking the step forward and actually saying that it's time to put things into action, not just doing it.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling overwhelmed because I've got so many, I would say, powerful mentors that are in my life right now, like you, James, Dean, all these other guys right now that are just kind of saying, align yourself with your why, get in connections with your vision, get clarity on that. And then in the action plan, I'm just kind of struggling with. I recently lost my job due to board governance. That is kind of what I want to speak on as well in my ministry. Just passionate volunteers that don't understand how to lead organizations, and I have a master's in leadership management, and I just get so frustrated. And so anyway, that's part of my ministry of vision and what I want to do with it. But I'm just feeling so overwhelmed with everything, and I'm like, I want to go with you and learn with you, but I don't really have a lot of money to start up with. And so do I focus more on just defining the ministry and the business, and then as I get that platform, then jump in with you? Or
I think there's a couple ways you can do it. One way is the one bonus that can help you tremendously is is the unique methodology bonus that I have, because what that is the process that I use to craft the thought leadership that I have, the frameworks and everything. And when we're able to take your knowledge, which is clearly you have a lot of knowledge, and package it in a way that's distinct, unique, and sets you apart in a positioning standpoint, and then overlay the marketing on it, that's where we start to get the earnings machine working at a higher level. And so, I mean, there is that aspect. If you join me in the program, I would probably tell you, look, I want you to do the foundational stuff first at the beginning, and then let's focus on getting the earnings machine underneath you, and then
that's through James.
And then we'll move into building the money machine. But let's focus on that earnings machine, meaning that we're going to take some of the stuff that Dean and James and the frameworks and how to build. Like I teach how to create your own proprietary process. Okay.
Right. Okay.
And that kind of thing, which will allow you then to do that. So, and you can do it either way, but I think that'll help you in the process to really start to navigate it.
Yeah. I'm always on the verge of starting, it seems, right? And I can look back and reflect back to 2012 when I was like, whoa, I'm on the verge of starting. But I didn't have the mentors in place, and I'm passionate about mentoring. That's actually part of my ministry is called MAD Ministries, and it's making a difference through mentoring, accountability, and discipling. And so it's kind of that's my ministry. That's what I'm going to be starting up. But the mentoring part and the accountability for myself is like, okay, shut up and start doing it, Dave. Like, this is where I've got to do it. But in doing that, I've surrounded myself with on the search, finding great resources. Yeah. But now I'm thinking, okay, my full-time job is this. This is my full-time job right now. My wife's a nurse. As a minister, I also get a chance to do weddings and funerals and things like that, have some sort of income stream.
Yeah.
So I'm okay for now, but all my attention wants to be in this.
Yeah.
And I'm getting so much from James. I'm getting so much from Dean and those guys, but I just feel as though as I start building something, if I don't have a good foundation with the money and a good relationship with that,
it becomes a problem.
As a minister, I was just like the lady who was just on the call with you before.
Yeah.
She was with the Buddhist. I was with a different faith-based, and money was never, something that if you had it, you couldn't have it because you needed to give it away and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so now I'm thinking, you know what? I need a good foundation of money to do the ministry.
Yeah.
And to have that freedom to be able to do it the way that I'm intended to do it with my gifts and my talents and such.
Yeah.
And so as I said, Mel, I thank you so much because, as I said, I'm going through this. I've jumped in all your classes. I listen to you as often as I can. But as I said, I was trying to figure with the balance of James and do I wait for you or get the business start going first, or do I jump in right now and get that good foundation of the understanding? And that's where I'm at.
Here's what I would do if you jumped in with me. If you jumped in with me, one of the things that I would actually do is I would have you ping me. Well, I get notified anytime someone jumps in, so I can connect with them. But because I'm going to want you to put a date on the calendar. So now this might scare you. You might sit back and go, oh no, because we're going to put a date on the calendar, so there isn't a I'm always starting kind of concept, and that whatever that looks like, because it's going to force things to start to align. The first time I did a live event, I didn't want to do any live events, and Brendan Burchard said just put a date on the calendar. And he trapped me into doing my first live event because I put a date on the calendar that was way out it was out in the future. But then when I saw him the next time backstage and we're chatting, and he says, do you ever put a date on the calendar? And I said, yeah. He says, what's the date? And I said, June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And I still remembered it's etched in my mind. And he said, oh, well, that's 8 weeks after Experts Academy. He says, good, bring a jacket. You're getting on stage. We're selling the live event. I go, oh, no, you tricked me. But it was an important thing that he did for me because it forced me to say, well, if that's truly the case, I made a declaration now, and now I need to do something. So I wouldn't allow it. I wouldn't allow you to sit back and just go, all right, you can just keep doing what you're doing. No, we're going to turn around and say, let's put some dates on the calendar and let's move you forward so we know, in 2 months, 3 months, January 1st, this thing's hitting. And whatever it looks like, this thing, at least we're moving forward, because now we don't have a stalled car, and now we can move the car in the direction that we need to because it happens to be in motion.
Perfect. I appreciate that.
You got it.
Thanks so much, Mel.
I got you, man. All right. Cool. Other questions? All right, y'all. How long would the replays will be up at least this week? The replays will be up this week. All right. Listen, y'all, if there's other questions or anything, ping out Michael. Michael, you got a question? Let's do this. Let's see.
Hey, Mel.
How you doing, man?
I'm okay, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing well.
I've got a lot of thoughts rattling around in my head, so I'm going to be fumbling a little bit, so forgive me.
All good.
One of my, I found you through Brad. I've been in his Rewired program since earlier this year, and then I found James, and I enrolled in James's BBD program, and I'm going through his Mind Your Money challenge right now. And money is one of my biggest challenges. It's been a big challenge all of my life. I'm now 56. I'm an architect. I've had my own solo practice since 2003. And I've had ups and downs over the years. And right now I'm in a pretty low point with my project load, and my self-confidence and self-worth is pretty low right now. I'm recovering from a couple of surgeries. Just last week, I had surgery on my thumb to repair a UCL tear. So I'm dealing with paying medical expenses with my health insurance deductible. And a lot of what you've been talking about, I've watched all of your live streams over the last couple of weeks, and I think they're fantastic. A lot of what you're talking about are things that I have learned about even 30 years ago when I was younger, but I chose not to implement them and pay attention to them and put things off. And now here I am, not in a good place financially. So there's a number of things that I'm resistant to jumping into your program on. One is financial. One, I don't have the money to pay for it right now. And if I did it, I would be putting it on a credit card and incurring more credit card debt. Another concern that I have is jumping into another program that I don't follow through with. In the past couple of years, I've signed on to other programs, and I think there are other people out there that have very good programs to offer, regardless of their price. And I've learned a lot, but I've kind of lost interest in those programs and haven't followed through with them. And I'm concerned about that. And it's not a reflection of what I think you and your program's values are. It's more of a concern that I have about myself and not following through with something that I sign up for. I see tremendous value in your program. I need and really crave that kind of community around me that can hold me to account, that I can learn from and be part of. I don't have that in my life right now.
Yeah.
One of the things that I struggle with where I live is my personal lack of community. Being 56 and not having kids, divorced for 6 years, and I live in the Vail Valley in Colorado. So I live in a ski resort, but I live in the down valley end of it, which is mostly a bedroom community for businesses up valley, and that's where all the cool, fun things are happening. Mostly down here, it's just families and people going to sleep at night and then getting up and going to work in the day. So I don't have a tight community of people anymore. I've lost countless friends over the years. so having access to your community is something that I know would be very valuable for me. So again, I'm rambling. These are lots of
Yeah.
thoughts that are rattling around in my head right now. I'm really scared to death of where I am financially. I know I have a lot of talent. I know I have a lot to offer to people and to the world, and I have ideas for other online coaching businesses about, that's why I signed up for James's program. Um, I just have a lot of fears that are holding me back. A lot of fears around lack of self-worth, um, limiting beliefs about would people find me and what I have to offer valuable? Would they want to pay for it? So there's a lot of self-doubt and fears that are holding me back from doing things.
Yeah. So here's the thing, and I can hear it in your voice. So I appreciate you being so upfront, honest, and transparent, because that is not easy. And this isn't to be flippant. Haters are going to be haters. I mean,
Yeah,
some of the things that I get on some of my stuff, I have this knee-jerk desire to reach out and respond, and I step back a lot of times, and I'm only saying that because I have to realize that when I get that one person that it made a difference in their life, that's what we're doing this for. And so there, depending on where you want to go and what it is, there will be a market, if done right, that want your stuff. And those that choose to or don't want your stuff, they're not part of your market. But that's not a testament to you and your worth, which is a challenging, it's a challenging thing, especially when you start to do what I'm doing, or what some of these, because you're in the public eye. And you got these, I call them cowards with keyboards that just want to come after you and all that stuff. And so that's real. But at the same time, having a community of folks that have your back or have gone through similar things, and everything, can help say you're not alone and kind of keep you rolling forward. That's one piece of it. The other piece of it, I think, is you said I'm scared to death for where I'm at, but that also has a little bit of a feel of you're beating yourself up for where you're at too, and that's okay, but it doesn't move us forward. And whatever you've gone through, we can get into it, but whatever you've gone through was, I believe, necessary to put you in this place to become the person you're meant to become. I wholeheartedly believe cancer was given to me because of that. Because I was too comfortable. I was doing my thing, and it wasn't as coming from a place of service as it is today. And it's helped mold me in this, in the heat of it. It doesn't feel it doesn't feel good because you're going through it. But so there's that part of it. The other thing is, from a follow through standpoint, having that right community, just like I was talking with David about, hey, let's put some dates on the calendar. Let's move you forward in little steps, because what our self-esteem needs is just micro successes. But we often put these lofty destinations on the map, and we don't see ourselves as a success until we reach that ultimate destination. But we're truly a success when we make progress. But we're not a society that likes to celebrate progress. We like to celebrate the achievement. But it's the celebration of the progress that allows us to keep going, to keep doing it. I mean, the whole advent of the belt system in the martial arts in the United States, the colored belts, was not something that came from Japan or China or anything like that. It's something that was created in the US because people needed to understand that they made progress, and we needed to celebrate progress and keep them going. So having a community can help. Now, the other side of it is financial, and you and I can talk offline about that, because I don't need the last thing we need to do. It's a paradox, because it seems to me that one of the things that is really important right now is for you to have that unshakable financial foundation in place, so you can get that space and that comfort and everything, and put some things into a hierarchy and priorities to run it. But at the same time, I don't want you financially stressed because you decided to be part of it. And that, because that stress starts to hold you back from doing the things that are necessary, because you're always questioning in the back of your mind. So I think those are the challenges I see, and I don't necessarily have all the answers, and I'm not here to convince you of anything. I just want to support you in the journey in the way that you want to go, and if there's a way for us to make it make sense for you to be part of it, and then you say, can I make sure that someone holds me accountable? Can I, can we do that? Yeah, let's deal with these things up front and make sure that you're dialed in the community so we can move you forward. I do think that there's probably some priorities that we need to have in place, no matter whether you're with me or you don't join. And the first thing is to sit back and say, what's my priorities? And part of it obviously is income, and finding the highest probability of success on where I can get that income from, because that's what's going to give you oxygen and some breathing room. The second part of it is probably even more important than the income. And this was something that happened with Jeremy, because there was a time in his life in third grade where he was at risk of being held back, and there was some things going on with his mother and all that stuff. It wasn't a good situation. And I sat with the teachers, and they said he might be held back. And I said, I don't care. And they looked at me like, going, what are you talking about? And I said, our job by the end of this semester isn't to make sure he doesn't get held back. Our job by the end of the semester is to make sure that he has and finds the belief in himself again. Because without that, even if he goes to the next grade, that problem's going to be with him. And so let's focus on making sure that he believes in himself. And I think that's the big thing right now for you, is that we need to find a space and a place to help you find that belief in yourself. Whatever the situation is that got you here, it's not who you are. It's just a situation that happened. And to the extent that we can support that journey, that's the thing that's actually going to carry you forward, more so than the tactical stuff, is your ability to find that belief in yourself again. And that might mean that you take a step out and do some things differently, and get yourself out of, not move from where you're at, but get up and move, and get up and do things, and find those other elements, and know that you've got a place to fall back on with a community. But I think when I look at it, yeah, there's some financial priorities we want to get in place, but the thing that I see is I want to get you to believe in yourself again, more so, because that'll be the catalyst and the key to everything we do and you do moving forward, whether it's with me or anyone else.
Yeah, those are two priorities that I definitely resonate with. One priority, to use your phrase of get some oxygen again, is to get some income flowing through my work, to get a couple of decent projects under my belt and get some money coming in would give me more confidence in myself. And there's a lot around that. I don't want to take up more time and get into details about it right now. But those are really the two priorities that I'm focusing on, is getting more income coming in so I can get my confidence back up and take the next steps.
Yeah.
I have some of the systems in place that you're talking about, but I don't have the knowledge and the bandwidth that you do. And I've been looking for some kind of mentor, advisor, program group, exactly like you're describing, to get into and to learn more about it, and to not have someone do it for me. Like you said,
Yeah.
what I find really appealing about what you offer is that you don't do it for people. You coach people, you help people, you educate and support people in doing it themselves so they understand it and they feel empowered. And that's the way I operate. I don't like other people doing something for me without me understanding what's being done. I like to dive into something and understand what I'm doing, whether it's financial or a personal hobby or anything
Yeah.
like that. I like to understand so I can make informed decisions and feel like I'm in control of what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, here's like I said, I'm not a hard sell kind of guy. I just want to make sure you make the right choice. If you want to have an offline conversation or things come up, you know, and you're kind of thinking through it, man, just click that thing on the registration page. Reach out to me. We can have the conversation. Um, and I know that the people that will be in there would be a great support mechanism for you. But at the same time, I also know that I want to make sure that you make the right choice, that you can commit to it in a way that we can move you forward, and that we repair whatever is the pains inside to move you forward, because that's the thing that's going to be the long-term success. It's the thing that, that was, and so through the financial, we can build the esteem too. Doesn't mean that's not going to be work to it, but it certainly means that it can be done. So, and again, your transparency, your honesty, your nature, being so open to it. I mean, you don't know the people on the call, you don't know me, but I honor you for being that frank and being willing to have the conversation. And so anything I can do to kind of help you navigate the conversation, the decision, the financial side of it, the other side of it, you make sure you reach out and let's have the conversation. We got time.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll do that.
You got it, my friend.
All right.
We got you. It feels crazy and hectic and stressful right now, but I promise you it's something that's preparing you for something greater, and we'll get you there.
Yeah, that's something that I want. I've told this to Brad a couple of times before. He and you and James, you guys have a level of mastery in what you do that I want to have in whatever it is that I choose to do. And I don't have that yet. And it's something that I've wanted to have. I have such a strong desire. I admire you guys so much for putting the time in over the years to develop that level of mastery that you have. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's done with intent, and sometimes it's done with a stick. That just got me over your head. When you don't take the subtle hints, somehow the hints get a little less subtle.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Thank you, Mel.
You stay well, and know that I'm here if you need something, and let's have the conversation. All right.
All right, will do. I'll follow up on that. Thank you.
You got it, my friend. Be well. And take a look at the notes that some of the people have sent to you. So, yeah, exactly, Michelle. All right, y'all. Good. We've been rolling. We've been rocking. All right, so give me some time. Then the recording, at least of the session, everything will be up on the replay pages, so you can get access to it. I'll be live again tomorrow with some guests, so I'll let you know about that. Join us then. Let's have some more conversations. Anything comes up in the meantime, or you have anything that you have questions on, you can get access to me on the registration page in that bottom right corner. And let's keep the conversation going. I hope I get a chance to see y'all in Money Machine Blueprint. And let's use the next 12 months to transform your financial future. Let's make it happen. All right, y'all. See you soon. Cheers for now.